Hi guys, we are going to be making this cool bag from Parker on the Porch. This is called the Fresh Mesh Bag. It has these cool mesh pockets on the front, okay? So this is what it looks like. I have my iPad mini in here and I have some cords in here. This is the 8x12 size we are going to make together. Here's the front. Here's the back. There's two mesh pockets right here. And then the inside is fully lined. Okay, we are going to go make this bag together and I'm going to walk you through all these steps. When I was making this video, there was one step that was out of place. So pay attention to any of the writing I put in there. It didn't make a difference on how you made this bag. I'm just going to point out where one step should have happened and I just skipped it, but it didn't make a big difference. But I will tell you what to do on that step. So in a few places I might say it's the wrong step, but I will correct it in writing in the video. Okay, so I hope that makes sense and let's get started. I will walk you through this bag. Okay, I have the first hooping on my machine. I'm running a Baby Lock Spirit here. I have the first hooping, and this is going to help you connect the mesh to the bias tape that we're going to make. Okay, so this is one sheet of tearaway. I'm making the 8x12, so I have my 8x12 hoop. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the placement stitch. Okay guys, this is what it looks right here. This is the placement for your bias tape that we're going to make. I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. So I'm just going to use this grungy type black fabric from, this was just from Joann's. Here. Here's the label. Okay, I'm going to use that as my bias tape. So what you need to do is you need to cut a 2-inch strip. 2-inch strip turned into bias tape turns into 1/2 inch bias tape. So you need a 2-inch wide strip, and then you need it a little bit longer on either side of this. Like I just cut from here to here and made sure it was 2 inches wide. Okay, so that's how you know your measurement. And this is the 8x12. So if you're doing a smaller size, the length's going to be different, but it's going to be 2 inches wide no matter what. Okay, so then what you do once you have that piece, you go ahead and iron it into bias tape. I'm going to show you how to do that. You basically have your 2-inch strip like this. I iron it down, and then you iron it in half like this. So you fold it all the way in half, you iron it all the way down. Once you have that, you have a center crease right here. Then you fold in both sides to that center crease like this, and you iron that all the way down. Once you have that ironed down, then you can fold it in half. And once you have all that done, you now have a 1/2 inch bias tape. The raw edges are inside, and this is what we are going to attach to your mesh, which we'll talk about next. So that's how you make bias tape. That's also how you make straps and other things like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're first going to attach the bias tape to this. Okay, so this is where my hoop attaches. So you're going to be putting the mesh from this side. So what you're going to do is you're going to open your bias tape like this, just halfway open. You see how it's like that? You're going to go ahead and place this past there, right along this line, all the way across, and tape it, okay? Like that, all the way across, and tape it really good. So I'm going to tape that real good, and then I'll come back on and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it should look like. It should be just taped down. You should be able to see just the edge. Let me see if I turn this the other way. You should be able to see the stitching right there. Okay, I have it just lined up along the stitching all the way across. I have it taped right on the edge so your stitches don't go over your tape. And then we're going to go to our machine. We're going to run the next step, and it's going to go ahead and just tack this side, not this side down to your tearaway. So I'm going to do that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like right here. I went ahead and just did a stitch right here, right above. You can see, we will take this tape off now. But it did a stitch, and so it has this down. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put the mesh inside here, and then we're going to fold it over so the mesh gets stitched in to this bias tape. That's what we're doing here. So I wanted to show you, I bought my mesh in packages like this on Amazon. So this is the black. I have a white. This is what the white looks like. And then I have teal. They have a bunch of different colors. Okay, so I just typed in mesh on Amazon and it came up. I believe Julie, who's in this group from Midwest Crafty Mommy, I should look it up, my Midwest Crafty Mommy or whatever. She's the one that does the live tutorials all the time. She has a group where she sells this too, so you can buy it from her as well, okay? I'll put both links in at the end of the video where it says show more underneath this video. There's like a see more under my name or a show more. If you click that, it has all my links to the design and everything. I will add the Amazon link to this, and then I'll also add the link to her group, and you can choose where you want to buy the mesh, okay? So this is what it looks like though. This is what mesh I bought. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is you're gonna need a big enough, wide enough piece of mesh that goes past these stitch steps back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I cut mine to just make sure that it is wide enough to get by all my stitches like that. Now, we don't know the length from this placement on how long to make it, but I know that this is an 8x12 bag, so it's not going to be bigger than my 8x12 hoop. So I'm going to be wasteful, so you're probably not going to want to do it my way, but I'm just going to cut like this because I know I will have enough. Not only will my bag not be the size of this hoop, but also your mesh is going to be placed further down under your zipper. So you will not need this length, but that's how I'm measuring because I just want to have it. Now, when you get this file, when you buy this file, there'll be a PDF tutorial and it will have what size to cut your mesh and what size to cut your fabric per size. So you can go refer there. I don't have that right now because I think it's still being created while I'm creating this. So I'm just showing you my fast way of just knowing that that will be long enough, okay? So go ahead and use the PDF if you want exact measurements on the size you're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and take this tape off now because we no longer need it to hold here. And I don't need it stitched in to my bag. Okay. There we go. So what we're going to do next is you're going to take your mesh like this. Okay. You're going to put it along this. You see where this ends right here? You're going to put it right about there. You want to make sure it gets stitched in here. So put it at the halfway point right there, all the way up like that. Then you're going to go ahead and fold this over and down like this, okay? And then you're going to tape again, okay? So you're just going to go ahead and tape it down, get it where it's really nice and flat and how you're going to want it, the mesh all the way up. And then we're going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is going to be one top stitch, and it's going to go ahead and attach it together, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to go ahead and tape it, and then I will come back and show you on the machine. Okay, guys, I am on my machine, and this is what it looks like. I just have it taped down a little bit on both sides. Okay, the next step is going to do a top stitch. So whatever color you want to see, make sure you have that because you will see it. Okay, and you can see that the mesh is hanging out this way. I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, it went ahead and stitched all the way across. Okay, I used black. Two reasons. One, I wanted it to be black, but two, if you don't have this lined up like exactly, it might look a little wonky. So if you do the matching thread to your fabric, you'll be good to go. It won't be so noticeable. So now this next step, the very last step, is going to do a second top stitch right above this. So we are ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and stitch that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, guys, this is what it looks like right here. It went ahead and did both stitches. We're ready to go. I'm going to take off this tape. You can see that it's stitched over my tape. This is just Scotch tape, so it's pretty easily to pull off from both sides, even though it's stitched on it. Okay, so I'm just going to remove all this tape. We are done stitching. This was the first hooping. We are done with the first hoop. Okay, let me get some tweezers so I can get this tape off. Okay, you want to make sure you get the tape off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just take this off. I'll get the tape. I have tearaway, so you can just take this off. Get all your tearaway off. But you can see that it is now attached. I'm going to get this extra tape off. It is attached to your mesh. So I'm going to get all this tearaway off, get my tape off. I'm going to re-hoop my 8x12 hoop. This is the second and last hooping. This is where the bag part is made. So I'm going to go ahead and put cutaway on my hoop. If you prefer tearaway, go for it. But whatever stabilizer you use stays inside this part of the bag. So use which one you want. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hoop ready, and I'm going to clean that up, and I will meet you back at the machine. Okay guys, I'm at my machine. I have my hoop on my machine. I'm going to go ahead, I have the next file loaded. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the first step. It goes directly onto your stabilizer. I will come back and show you. Okay guys, this is what your placement looks like. The next step is to go ahead and put your zipper down. This is a number 3 zipper bag, so here's a number 3 zipper. You just need to make sure you have a long enough zipper that can get by your placement stitches here and here. So it has to be long enough to get by both of those. And your foot has to be able to get by without hitting your zipper pull or your zipper end. If you have something super long, it doesn't matter. We cut off the excess later. You just have to have it long enough to get by. So if you, this is the way the bag goes right here. If you want to pull your zipper from this direction, make sure your zipper pulls over here. If you want it to open from the other direction, just flip your zipper this way. Okay, and put your pull on this side. Okay, now you want to line your zipper up between these two stitch lines right here. I always just line it up along this bottom like this where you can see it like that all the way across. Make sure your zipper head's far enough over. Make sure the end is far enough over. And then you can tape either side. Step 2 is going to go ahead and stitch along this. And then jump the zipper teeth and stitch along the top, attaching your zipper to your stabilizer, okay? So you can go ahead and get that in its right place and go ahead and tape it and then run the next step. And I'll come back and show you what mine looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like right here. We have our zipper down. Now we need to measure our fabric. I'm going to use this cool fabric here. This fabric is from Oh So Pretty Custom Fabric, and it's called Wicked. I got it in a pre-order, so it's super cute. Okay, so this is cotton lycra. I'm going to go ahead. You just need a piece of fabric big enough to go around this bag, and you need 2. This is my front, and then this is my back. So I cut 2, and then I interfaced it with fusible fleece. So if you're not familiar with fusible fleece, it's just a thicker interfacing, and I kind of like it because it gives it padding. There's a rough side and a soft side. You take the wrong side of your fabric facing up, you take the rough side of the fusible fleece, place it down, and then you just iron it. So I just always flip it over and iron it until it adheres, and then you just have a thicker piece of fabric right here. If you do not want a thicker bag and you're using cotton lycra fabric, it has a stretch to it, so you need at a minimum to use SF101 interfacing. That stops the stretch and you can use it on bags, and that goes on exactly the same way. It's a fusible interfacing. Again, that's SF101 if you're using cotton lycra. If you're using woven and you want it to be a little thicker but not as thick as fusible fleece, then you can go ahead and use like a lightweight or a medium weight fusible interfacing. You just need to look that up. Usually it's made by Pellin. Okay, so I have these 2 cut and ready to go. You need a front and a back of your bag. Then you need 2 liners. So I'm just using this. So I went ahead and cut 2 pieces of this. I ironed this is woven. I ironed my liners, but I'm not putting anything on them. So those are just ironed and ready to go. Okay, so that's the fabric that you need. I'm going to go ahead and flip my hoop upside down. So underneath, you want the underneath of your hoop to place your liner. Taking my liner like this, I'm going to show you directionally. That doesn't have a direction, so let me show you directionally first. So the hoop Let me show you right here. The top of the bag is where the zipper is. So you flip like this so that your zipper is still up here. So this is the top of the bag, okay? If you have directional fabric for your liner, this is your liner that's going to be on the inside of your bag. So you're going to have the fabric facing you. I have the characters facing me. You're going to flip up like this, pull it up, and you want to place it right under this bottom line right here. So I would just go like this, pull it down, make sure you get past your placement stitches, and go ahead and tape right here and here. That's how you would place this. So when it runs the next step, it's going to do one stitch along here. When you fold it down, it's facing the right way. That's how you do directional on here, okay? I'm not using directional, so here's my liner. I'm going to go ahead, doesn't matter how I flip it, but I'm going to go ahead and place it right under here. I'm going to tape both sides like this, like so. Okay, now this is just going to hang there, so you need to just watch it when you put it on your hoop and leave it hanging for a little bit. So I'm just going to do that. Now you're going to place the front fabric exactly the same way. Now this, I'm using this. You will, this is the fabric you want to see on the front of your bag. So I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to flip the same way. The characters are up, right side up, facing me, and I'm going to flip up like this, okay? And then I'm going to pull it right where the zipper is, right under the zipper. It's going to stitch the line that stitched the zipper down, so you need to at least be past that. And then I'm going to go ahead and tape this down like this so it stays in place. Okay, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to go over to my machine and I'm going to put this on, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm on my machine. I always make sure when I put this on, I look underneath and make sure that my liner is where it still needs to be. It didn't come off and get moved. So go ahead and stitch step 3. It's going to do one line right here, tacking both fabrics to the zipper. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. If you have excess fabric like way over here, just go ahead and trim it. You also at this time can flip this over. And if you have a lot of excess fabric right here, you can trim this as well. Don't trim it so close so it pulls out, but you can also check your lining now to make sure that it's big enough to get past your lines down here. There's some different things you can check before you sew on, but I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. Make sure this is not twisted and all the way out. You want your lining flatten out. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and pull your front down like this. Make sure that it's flat and smooth, and then you're going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is just going to stitch a line across here. That's going to show us where we're going to go ahead and place that first mesh hooping that we did. Okay, this is what we look like here. It went ahead and did a straight line across right here. You can see that it's still like this. It just has a line right there. Your liner is still up, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and place our mesh on here. So we have our mesh that's all cleaned up, and it's stitched really well. So I must have lined it up pretty good because the stitching looks perfect. The two of them, okay? So you're gonna take the top, this is the wrong side. You're going to put the wrong sides down like this, okay? And you're going to line it up right along that stitch line that just stitched. And make sure you can see where your stitches end on either side. Go ahead and make sure you're lining those up where it ends on either side here, okay? So there, I'm going to line that up like right about there, okay? And I'm going to tape that down. And then I'm going to take this side and get it right where I want it over here. And I'm going to tape that side down. Okay, just like that. And then you are good to go. So the next step, we're going to go put this back on our machine. Make sure your liner is still out of the way when you get it on. Stitch the next step. It's going to go ahead and stitch a line straight down your mesh. That's creating the 2 separate pockets. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go stitch that, and I'll come back and show you. Okay guys, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and stitched all the way down here. Okay, now the next step, step 6 is going to stitch this mesh down all the way around. So just make sure that you're flat You can go ahead and tape it up here on the sides to make sure that it doesn't move and bunch. I usually just hold it with my hands, but you can tape it all the way around because it's going to basically go down all the way around and then back up. Okay, so go ahead and stitch step 6. I'll come back and show you what mine looks like. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is what mine looks like right here. You have 2 pockets. You have this one and this one, so you can see what it looks like. And now it's stitched all of this mesh down as well. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and flip our hoop over. We're going to pull this liner down now. Okay, so you're going to pull it down. My fabric always ends up being too long because I cut it the size of the whole bag, so it ends up being too long when you fold over. But so I just trimmed it a little. I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. You're underneath your hoop, so you need to make sure you have tape everywhere. Okay, now I'm going to take it back to my machine and I'm going to stitch the next step. The next step's just going to go ahead and tack this down. So I'm going to put this on my machine, make sure nothing moved underneath, and stitch the next step, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay guys, this is what it looks like right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and open my zipper. Far enough over that you can flip your bag through here, but not so far over that when this goes all the way around the bag that the foot of your machine will hit your zipper. So you need to make sure your zipper head's far enough in that it won't hit it, okay? So I got that done. Now if you want to add anything to your bag, this is when you do it right now. So I'm probably going to add something. I probably should have got it before I hit record, but let's do just some black fold over elastic. I'm just going to add this, so if I want to add anything to the bag. Okay. So if you want to add like purse straps, I'm just going to show you, I kind of show this in every video just in case you want to. You would put your hardware on whatever you're using. If you're using, you could do bias tape, you could make more bias tape and use that. You could use vinyl, you can use ribbon. This is fold over elastic. Where you would put it if you want purse straps is you would just put it up here along this top. You'd put one here, hardware goes on the inside, one here, and then you do another one on this side and just measure them equal distance from the sides. Okay, I'm not going to put purse straps, but that's where you'd put them. The next step's going to stitch all the way along these placement stitches, so you can put whatever you want along any of this. If you want like a tag with your business name on it, you would put it on here. Remember, the right sides go in, and whatever is face down is what's going to show, because this, if you put this right here and say it was a business tag, it's going to flip back like that. So you would read from this, from the face down side. Okay, so that's, you would want the right sides face down. I think I'm just going to do not even any hardware. I'm just going to do this fold over elastic, just if I want to hang something off the bag, I can. So I'm actually going to put it a little lower, like where the mesh is. This bag's really big, so you take the loop. These are right sides facing out, wrong sides are touching each other. I'm going to put it like right underneath here, I think. Or maybe I should put it higher. I think I'm going to do it higher. Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to place it right there. The loop's on the inside. I'm going to tape it down. And then you're going to take your back fabric right here. I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're going to have the right sides facing you. So they're facing me, looking at me right. You're not going to flip it like this like we do the other time. You're going to flip it this way because this doesn't flip in the end. So you want to do it sideways. So again, it's facing the right way, looking at me. You're going to do it sideways like that. And then it will be facing the right way when we flip it in the end. Okay. So get yourself lined up how you want to be lined up. Okay, now I'm going to go over the machine. I'm going to run the next step. It's going to go all the way around the bag several times and closing this bag. Make sure your zipper's open. You have to have that open right now. Okay, I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and tacked down the whole back to the front of your bag. Now you're going to flip your hoop over upside down. We're going to put our last stitch step. It's going to be the liner. Okay, so let me get me some directional fabric. Okay, let me do this one. So if this was your directional fabric, if your liner's directional, you would have it towards you, face up, and then you would flip it the sideways like this, okay? And then it would be the right way, okay? So that's how you want to flip directional fabric. I don't have directional fabric, but I have the right way, and then I flip it this way, and you go ahead and get past all your placement stitches. Go ahead and tape it down. You want a little extra down at the bottom because we're going to close the hole down here, so make sure you have a little extra down here, okay? I'm going to just make sure it gets all taped like this, okay? There we go. Now I'm going to go back to my machine, stitch the very last stitch step, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like. Here's the top of your hoop. Here's what the underneath of your hoop should look like. You have your hole right here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take this off because we're done stitching. Oh, it's taped. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and cut around the bag. I'm going to go from this side so I can see where my stitches end. Now you can see a couple things, some tips. Like I said, I knew this mesh was going to be too long, that's not the right amount that I needed. But you have a PDF, so it will tell you exactly what size to cut, so you don't have to waste all this mesh, okay? So that's one tip, okay? I'm going to go here. You're going to cut all the way around this bag. Okay. Yeah, my scissors keep getting stuck on the fusible fleece. Okay, stop where the stitches stop, and then I turn out and cut mine that direction. I'm gonna get this extra little piece. I've got to turn over. Okay, now I go ahead and I cut along here because you don't need it this long. Okay, now here's your liner. Either piece that's on the side of the hole is your liner, and you know what you used. Okay, so this I flip up like this to get it out of the way because you want those two pieces of fabric to help close your bag. All this extra stuff you do not need. So the way that I get rid of that is I fold this over like this, and then I flip it so I can see. You can't see the stitches over here. Make sure that you have this. It's a little harder with bigger bags, okay? And then don't cut at an angle. If you cut at an angle, you're going to cut in there. So make sure you cut straight across here to get rid of this portion. And then I'm going to cut this right here. This stuff got folded over. Okay. Okay, so now you have your liner here. You have all that excess cut off. Now you're going to flip through this liner. So I'm just going to go in here, flip. Okay, I'm gonna use this. Now there are two places you can cut this. If you use cutaway, like I did, there's two places you can cut this. One now, which I'm going to show you. The other time that is actually really convenient to do it, but I'm just so programmed to not do it at that time, so I always forget, is as soon as you do your zipper placement and then you put your zipper down and it tacks your zipper down, right then, if you flip your hoop over, you can cut this out right at that step. I'm going to move this a little bit, sorry, so you can see when I put this down here. But I always forget, so I'm going to cut it out now. So I just take these little scissors right here. I get in here. You want to get under this cutaway, but don't cut your zipper. So I just get it started. Make sure I can see my zipper, okay? And then a lot of times can just push it. If your scissors are sharp enough, you can just push it along. You don't want to cut your fabric and you don't want to cut your zipper, but you want to get this cutaway out. Okay. I'm going to turn it. And now we're going to go this way. I'm just holding on to the edge. Keeps getting stuck on my zipper. Okay. Cut this. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and close this hole. Your zipper's open, so you have a hole there, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and close it with this. Hold on. This is called Fabric Peel and Stick Fabric Fuse right here. This is what I'm closing the bag with, okay? You can use other things. You can ladder stitch it. You can sew it on a sewing machine. You can use this clear glue. Use whatever method you preferred. But if you're using this tape, you basically, I tape it onto those bottom stitches. I just pull it across, okay? When you get to the end, I just tear it. I push it down. It adheres with pressure, so I just push it down. And then this is why I leave that excess fabric, because you're basically going to sandwich this in like this, both sides. Okay, get it how you want it. You can use clips or whatever you need to get it exactly how you want it. I'm just pushing this in a little further. Okay, I think that's good. When you have really big bags, sometimes it helps to clip one side just so it doesn't get out of whack, okay? So then once you have that, then I peel up one side, make sure it's sticking. Okay, peel up one side, you see how it has glue tape there basically. And then I basically just push it together, and I just do a little bit at a time because this tape, this stuff is really sticky, okay? Okay, and then if it pulls out at the end, I always stick it back in like this. Okay. And then I just pressure it down. Okay, like that. Okay, and it's, you can see that it's closed, it's flat, looks great. Okay, now you have your hole here. You can go ahead and flip again. Make sure you get your corners out really good this time, because this is your final turn. You want it to look nice. Okay, I'm gonna smooth it down, zipper it up. Okay, there you go. Here is your cool new bag. This is called the Fresh Mesh Bag by Parker on the Porch. It has cute little mesh pockets in front that we made. Cool back. Okay, you can open it up and it's fully lined. It looks great. Okay. I hope you enjoyed doing this tutorial with me. If you have any questions, let me know here or over in the Parker on the Porch Facebook group. I appreciate you sewing with me, and I can't wait to see your guys' projects. Go ahead and post them over in the Parker on the Porch Facebook group. I pick 3 winners each week from projects that get posted that win 30 pop points each week. And they get featured in the Parker on the Porch newsletter as well. So that is fun to do. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you look under my name under this video, the see more, show more, I don't know what it says, one of those, it will have all the links to different stuff I use, and I will make sure to put the mesh in there, a couple choices of where you can buy the mesh, but it tells you the the pattern and the link to where you can go get it, and all sorts of good information in there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate you subscribing. And if you click on the little bell, it will notify you every time I upload a new tutorial. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you in the next one.